This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Hi there, I'm Sarah Donchie. Juliette is off tonight. Yet another atmospheric river is starting to sweep across the Bay Area, bringing heavy rain and strong winds. Our live radar starting to light up at our feet here. The next round is hitting the region as thousands of people are dealing with major flooding from the king tides. This is some video from Corte Madera where an entire neighborhood was covered with water. As you can see, the cars there parked in it. Our helicopter flew all over the area where there was so much water. We saw trucks and kayaks going down the road together, kind of leaving a wake there for that person. The water at least knee deep in a lot of places, including at a gym where we saw someone desperately trying to bail out water. The damage was done, though, in a lot of places. People at the shopping center had nowhere to go because their cars were stranded. This is all happening in a part of Corte Madera right off Highway 101 near the Lucky Drive, Doherty Drive exit. It's just south of Corte Madera Creek, near where it feeds into the bay. Homes, businesses, even part of Redwood High School were all underwater. Our Brad Hamilton has been hearing from neighbors having to deal with all of the flooding. He joins us live from Corte Madera. Okay, Brad, I guess the question is, have things improved as the day has gone on? How do things look like now?
That is the good news, as Pfeiffer Avenue right behind us here is back up and running. But earlier today, it was obviously anything but. This community knows all about king tides and the impact that it can have. But people we spoke with say they've never seen something like this.
Nick Garcia won't let anything get between him and a good workout. But today, he took that to the extreme.
Only me. The people left everybody.
Nick was inside this SF Fitness Center in Corte Madera as water began pouring in from the king tide. While others went to save their cars, Nick stayed to finish up. But his walk home wasn't a whole lot of fun.
Very, very cold. Yeah, too much cold. Very cold.
It's definitely passable up to the intersection, but beyond that, it's not. We just
Nick Gabbard, the battalion chief of the Central Marin Fire Department, was a busy man today. While the focus of his efforts centered on the intersection of Lucky and Pfeiffer, he also confirmed that the impact was widespread.
Definitely damage in Corte Madera and Larkspur. A lot of the homes in this area, also on the east side of Corte Madera, have been inundated, first floors.
For people like Rosa Gonzalez, that meant standing and waiting. Her food truck was unreachable due to the flooding for most of today.
Worry about the fridge, if get damaged, the grill we use and maybe can get damaged.
Now she's hoping the conditions improve, because if not, it's another lost day of business.
The weather is like this tomorrow. I think we will be closed tomorrow too.
Again, Pfeiffer Avenue is back open tonight. Hard to believe, as it was obviously totally flooded with water not too long ago. And all eyes are on that upcoming forecast. We're getting a ton of rain now, and that flood advisory that remains in effect until tomorrow afternoon.
All right, Brad, thanks for the update. Got to feel bad for people dealing with that. We will have the forecast in just a moment. Moving a bit south to Mill Valley now. Take a look at this drone video. It was sent to us by a KPIX viewer. The Mill Valley Sausalito bike path was underwater. You could even see flooding in the parking lot of the Holiday Inn Express off 101. In the same area, our chopper caught some serious flooding at Tamalpais High School. The water covering part of the school's track and football field. Miller Avenue kind of looked like a river rather than a road. And it's not just the North Bay. We saw flooding at the marina in downtown Martinez. City officials told us they're prepared for this. They have elevated gangways for people who live on their boats. They say the worst part of this, though, is waiting for the water to recede. And in Monterey County, we saw this otter just hanging out in a parking lot of all places. That tells you how flooded things were there. Locals told us this is the worst flooding that they have ever seen. This is a time-lapse video from Moss Landing showing how much the tide rose in just 1 hour. Again, this is happening with another storm on the way tonight, further complicating things. This time, the wind is a concern, too. So we do need to pay extra attention to the forecast tonight. Paul Hagan is here off the top to explain what we can expect. Obviously seeing problems already.
Yeah, so we'll start with the coastal flood warning and coastal flood advisory. The warning goes through 2 p.m. tomorrow. The advisory another 24 hours beyond that to 2 p.m. on Sunday. So low-lying spots. It's the combination of king tides, which are always a concern this time of year, but also the coincidence of the king tides occurring as a powerful storm system is sending bigger swells towards the coast. Now that artificially raises increases the water level even more. Let's talk about the rain, which has been moving in already. The latest round of rainfall moved in this afternoon, and another band of rain moved in over the past hour. This is the radar replay over the past couple hours showing these waves of rainfall moving in, and there's more of that to come. As we head through midnight, Futurecast shows more rain coming at us in these waves, a few breaks in between, but they're not going to last very long. Then we get more of a break after midnight into early tomorrow morning, but we don't dry out entirely. Still some hit or miss showers. As we head through the day on Saturday, we're going to see breaks in the action, but also some of these heftier downpours and potentially becoming full-fledged thunderstorms as we head especially into Saturday afternoon. We also have a wind advisory that's in effect for the coast and higher elevations of the Bay Area. Wind gusts in those locations over 40, even potentially over 50 miles an hour. Let's take a look at the winds as they stand right now. Current wind speeds, sustained winds, mostly running in the 15 to 20 mile an hour range in the high end of the spectrum. In terms of wind gusts, there are a few spots over 30 miles an hour already. Had a 35 mile an hour gust at the top of the hour in San Jose and getting to that level at SFO as well. Almost a 30 mile an hour gust. As we look to tomorrow, important time frame around 5 o'clock tomorrow evening as the Niners take on the Seattle Seahawks. It looks like off and on showers, some locally heavy downpour still with us. Not an all game washout, but layer up because it's going to be breezy and have a poncho because it's also still going to be damp. We'll take a look at how long this rainy pattern lasts overall coming up in the full forecast.
All right, Paul, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Stay with us as we track the storms throughout the weekend and tonight. We will have updates on air on the free CBS News app and on our website, kpix.com. A developing story for the third time this week. Neighborhoods in San Francisco's West Side were in the dark. Look at this. The power's back on now, but this was the PG&E outage map from just a couple of hours ago. The utility says 3,400 customers in the Seacliff and Richmond district lost power around 3:30 p.m. Rinse and repeat for a lot of people dealing with these outages. No word yet on what caused the latest one, but it has been a source of major frustration for people who live and work in that area. We talked to someone named Jamal who recently had to buy a flashlight to deal with all this.
The first day we were out for like 6-7 hours. You know, the first day the rain came, so that day we were out, and after that like 2-3 days we were out, and today is the day. Ice cream, sodas, beer, something like that.
So power was turned on by 5:15 tonight. This follows, of course, the outage in the Richmond district on New Year's Eve this past Sunday night, and then the major citywide, practically, outage that happened the Saturday of Christmas Eve. So one after the other after the other. All right, now we turn to a major ruling by a federal court in San Francisco today. In a 2-1 decision, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals found that California's ban on openly carrying firearms violates the Second Amendment. The ruling applies to all counties with more than 200,000 people living in them, or about 95% of our state. In his opinion, Judge Lawrence Van Dyke, a Trump appointee, said, quote, "The historical record makes unmistakably plain that open carry is part of this nation's history and tradition. California now becomes the 48th state to allow open carry in some fashion, with only New York and Illinois banning it outright. Attorney General Rob Bonta's office tells us they are reviewing the decision and considering all options." The daughter of Oscar-winning actor Tommy Lee Jones was found dead in a San Francisco hotel. Victoria Jones was discovered in a hallway of the Fairmont in the early hours of New Year's Day. So far, no cause of death has been officially disclosed yet. She was only 34 years old. The city of San Francisco closed 2025 with its lowest number of homicides in over 70 years. The police department released some new numbers. Homicides were down 20% over the previous year. Violent crime was down 18%, and car break-ins dropped by 43%. Police credited new technology for helping prevent crime. They say tools like automated license plate readers and public safety cameras have helped them gather crucial information for their investigations. Police Chief Derek Liu says the public has been a huge help, too.
I think maybe the community is believing what is going on here with the police department and believing in the fact that when they participate, things will happen. We hold people accountable.
Police also credited the city's retail theft crackdowns and drug market agency coordination center with helping stop some of this crime. They say more than 700 drug dealers were arrested in 2025. Still ahead here at 6 o'clock, crab season was supposed to start on Monday, but the boats are staying docked until further notice. The dispute pitting crabbers against restaurants and retailers.
We, of course, want the price to be as low as it can so we can pass that on to our guests.
We've waited for like a month and a half. What's a couple more days?
Plus, a car careened into a longtime East Bay boxing club that's trained some big names. A look at the damage and the owner's plea for help. And we're less than 24 hours from the showdown to determine home field in the NFC playoffs. We'll catch up with 49ers fans gearing up for the big game against the rival Seahawks. The delayed local commercial Dungeness crab season is supposed to finally start on Monday, but seafood lovers will have to wait just a little longer for local crab once again. And it is all thanks to a pricing dispute. Da Lin reports bad weather is also keeping boats docked near Fisherman's Wharf.
All these crab boats were supposed to head out on Friday morning to drop their pots. That would have allowed fishermen to retrieve them and sell the crabs on Monday when the commercial season opens. But everything is being pushed back due to high winds and a pricing holdout. It smells even better than it looks, but if you want local Dungeness crab, you'll have to wait a few more days.
We're not going to drop until at the earliest, probably Monday or Tuesday.
On Friday, commercial fisherman Jonathan Ten loaded up 2 boats full of crab pots at the wharf. High winds and big ocean waves just off the San Francisco coast made it too dangerous to make the drops.
We've waited for like a month and a half. What's a couple more days, you know? At least if the weather gets nice, we can go out there and do it safely. We don't have to risk our lives doing a job that's really, really dangerous.
On top of the bad weather, Bay Area fishermen are holding out for higher pricing. John Barnett is the president of the San Francisco Crab Boat Owners Association. He says fishermen want 50 to 75 cents more per pound from fish markets and wholesale buyers. Until both sides can agree on a price, the boats will stay put.
It's not expected to be a tremendous amount of crabs out here, so we want to get the most money that we can for them and make this a season, especially without our salmon seasons the last few years.
Fishermen like Jonathan say they're barely surviving, with the season once again delayed from November to January due to whale migration.
Not starting in November is really hard for us because we miss out on the holiday price with Thanksgiving and Christmas. And also the gear reduction's hard too. We're going on 60% stack.
This season, the state is also limiting fishermen to 60% of their allowable pots.
So we have a 350 pot permit, so 60% of that is 210.
Lower price will mean pass it along to the consumer.
Right now, the crabs being sold at markets and restaurants are coming from Oregon and Washington. Bob Partwright runs 5 restaurants at Pier 39, including Crab House.
When it is local Dungeness crab season and we can offer local crabs, we tend to see an increase in crab sales.
Jonathan hopes to deliver fresh local Dungeness crabs soon, but says all the conditions have to be right.
This is the first year we bought the boat, and we're excited to get out and start hauling in some crab.
Both sides are hoping to settle the pricing dispute by Monday. If that happens and the weather cooperates, the fishermen would head out on Tuesday and could return as early as Wednesday. Some of them will sell directly off of their boats at Pier 45 and Pier 47. No middleman.
A major gut punch for a longtime boxing gym in Oakland. A stolen car drove straight through the front of Lightning's Boxing Club on MacArthur Boulevard and into its historic boxing ring, the same ring George Foreman and Sugar Ray Leonard boxed in. The crash happened early New Year's Day. It caused extensive damage. Police say the driver of the stolen car sped down Seminary Avenue, hitting another car and then smashing through the front doors and into the ring. The crash has knocked down operations for the moment, but Oakland is stepping up to help the gym. While it's repaired, classes and training sessions will be held at Joffrey's Inner Circle of downtown Oakland starting Monday. The owner says it's important to keep the gym open for young people who are looking for a positive way to spend their time.
We got a nationally ranked amateur boxer that I want to keep going, and then of course my son, and then all the other kids that need this place to, participate in something positive other than, the stuff that's out there.
The owner says he needs more help, though, saying repairs and payment for his staff will cost tens of thousands of dollars and it could take months. Niners fans are counting down to tomorrow night's Best in the West showdown. The 49ers hosting the Seattle Seahawks with a chance to lock down home field advantage in the playoffs. The faithful were swarming outside Levi's Stadium today, some of them with jerseys and pens in hand, trying to score player autographs. We saw George Kittle signing some merch from the driver's seat as he was leaving practice. And we met a Vallejo dad making sure his infant daughter was ready for the game.
You got to teach them young. You got to let them know from the beginning. We bought her a onesie. We bought her a small sourdough Sam plushie, just something small so she could play with, But again, that black onesie was the important one, so we could all be blacked out for tomorrow.
The team store was packed with fans buying the black jerseys, which the team wears for rivalry games. And stay with us for all the excitement leading up to the Best in the West showdown. We'll have continuing coverage for you ahead of tomorrow night's big game. Also coming up, rain moving back into the Bay Area. But what does the first full week of 2026 hold? Paul is back for our first alert forecast. All right, the weather's definitely got our attention today, between the tides, the rain, and the wind that's coming.
It's unfortunately just that coincidence between high tides already and then storm surge with this latest wave of moisture headed for us, and it's not really going to let up a whole lot as we go into the weekend. So let's get into the details of what to expect, and we'll start with the practical part of the forecast. When can you get the dog out for a walk? We've got an adoptable dog to bring you the dog walking forecast. This is Sunny from Roxy's Ranch Haven. We are going to see a few breaks in between the showers tomorrow, but also the potential for a few thunderstorms here and there, and it's going to be windy throughout the day, so not ideal dog walking conditions tomorrow, even when we're in a break from the active rainfall. And Sunday is looking like a rainy day as well. Hope you're able to get your pups some exercise over the past 12 hours or so. Well, we've been in mostly a break until that rain returned this afternoon. It is going to be breezy for tonight and into tomorrow. Winds closer to the coast in the 35 to 45 mile an hour range. That's where some of the strongest gusts are going to be, in addition to the higher elevations. You don't see as many of the colored squares the farther down the line we look. By tomorrow night, the winds are going to start to back down, but tonight and tomorrow are going to be breezy. So if you haven't already, make sure you deflate any of those lawn ornaments that's still left from the holidays, because otherwise they're going to be blowing around quite a bit. Might take flight. This is the storm system that's sending this next wave of moisture towards us. Actually, a couple of different centers of circulation here. So it's a complex set of systems that's going to move in over the course of about the next 72 hours. So one wave of moisture is moving in right now. There's going to be more to follow that up off and on tomorrow throughout most of the day Sunday, and another wave of moisture headed our way for Monday. Let's take a look at what's on First Alert Doppler at the moment. And we've been tracking this rain as it makes its way across the Bay Area. Some of the heaviest rain falling from Napa County down through Contra Costa County and into Alameda County as well. The heaviest downpour is not lasting too long in any particular spot, but it's coming down at a good clip right now. And some heavier rain is about to move right into Napa itself. Let's switch over to Futurecast. We'll take you through midnight. It shows that rain continuing to move in. Steady rain likely for the next several hours. And then we get into that off and on pattern as we head through the rest of tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So not raining everywhere all the time, but at no point do we completely dry out. We'll go from 6 o'clock through noon tomorrow, and we're going to see more off and on showers and the potential for a couple of thunderstorms. And anything that does develop into a thunderstorm, you see where Futurecast is indicating that potential shaded in red here. That's where we're going to see some heavy rainfall rates that could result in some localized flooding. That continues to move off to the east, but still more off and on showers, including for the Niners game that kicks off at 5 o'clock in Santa Clara. We go through tomorrow evening, and the rain starts to pick up and become more widespread once again, as the next wave of rainfall is going to be moving right on in Saturday night and into Sunday. Really hard to separate where one ends and the next begins. Sunday's rain not as likely to produce even isolated thunderstorms, but it is going to be just a wet day overall as we head through that second half of the weekend. So we're adding up a decent amount of rain over the course of the next 48 hours or so. Futurecast for the northern half of the Bay Area, generally painting an inch or two of total rainfall just through Sunday afternoon. And there's more to come Sunday night into Monday. The southern half of the Bay Area, there's going to be some more variation, but even the rain-shadowed valley is likely to pick up close to an inch of total rainfall. Closer to the coast and in the higher elevations, numbers in the 2 to 3 inch range are going to be easily achievable. And the longer it keeps raining, the more the flooding potential is going to go up, let alone the influence of those king tides closer to the coast. One more good chance of rain Monday. Things taper off to a mostly dry forecast Tuesday, and then showers on Wednesday before we dry the forecast out for a longer stretch of weather beginning next Thursday and Friday. And any thoughts of heading to the Sierra? Do it during the day tomorrow when it'll be snowing, but conditions should at least be passable still on US 50 and I-80. That will not be the case with more snow falling Saturday night into Sunday, and then still more snow on top of that. They're under a winter storm warning through 10 a.m. on Monday, but there's still going to be more snow falling all the way through the midweek time frame. A couple of feet possible at lake level with several feet on the higher elevation. So let's take a look at the 7-day forecast, and it's one forecast for the whole Bay Area because we're not going to see much change in temperatures. We're going to see the showers lingering potentially Wednesday and then drying things out and even seeing more sunshine breaking through by Thursday and Friday. but below average temperatures, the price that we'll pay for the drier forecast. I think we'll pay that price by that point. We'll be ready for a break.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of us probably want to see no rain, maybe a little sun.
Southern California forecast, maybe?
Yes, that would be nice. All right.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. We will see. When we come back, the major sky shows that we're hoping to see to kick off 2026 if the weather allows. Plus, here's a look at what's ahead on the CBS Evening News.
Tonight, we go on the road to meet a grieving goose and learn a thing or two about loss, loneliness, and second chances. That's ahead on the CBS Evening News.
A new era of the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel begins next week right here in the Bay Area. Tony is a familiar face, helping us wake up on CBS mornings. Now he's taking the reins of the CBS Evening News. Join us as Tony launches his Live from America tour. His first stop is San Francisco. It's happening Monday night, starting at 6:30. 2026 is starting off in a big way with some significant celestial events, if we can see them. The year's first supermoon is this weekend. It's being called the Wolf Moon. The full moon's light will make it harder to see the second event, which is a meteor shower. The meteor shower will reach peak activity tomorrow evening. Astronomers say the shower will be active through January 16th. So hopefully there will be a chance to get a glimpse. The CBS Evening News is next on KPIX. Local news continues on our streaming service, CBS News Bay Area. We're back here in 30 minutes with CBS News Bay Area at 7.